Hey everybody, I'm John Rourke, Editor-in-Chief of Phoenix Home and Garden Magazine. We're here at the Arizona Fine Art Expo. We are talking with acrylic artist John Burrow. Hey John.
Howdy, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How many years have you been here?
This is my 7th year.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what brought you to this show?
Well, you know, there's not too many shows that are enclosed like this that have the traffic flow that this does and
Okay.
the quality of great artists that are around. It's
Okay.
fantastic.
All right,
Yeah.
so you work in acrylics.
Yep.
You're obviously inspired by the southwestern landscape.
I
You
am.
have some amazing examples here, and they describe your work for us.
Okay. Well, for starters, when I was a little kid, I used to watch those Wile E. Coyote cartoons, and I thought they were really fun, but I said, man, I'd never live in the desert. But holy cow, the colors that you get at 6 o'clock at night around here are just amazing.
Yes.
So that inspired me quite a bit to get painting in this style. And I come from a graphic design background, so the way I start most of my pieces is with some line art like you used to do in illustrations for magazines.
Right.
So I use a Sharpie and a pencil, and I create these things sometimes in the desert, sometimes when I get back. But I usually take a picture and do up a sketch like this, and then I take a pencil and fill out my dark spots.
Okay,
like
just
that.
get those values.
Yeah, then when I get back to my studio, I mix up some colorful paint and I draw it out in some lines so you can
Okay.
see it in
Sure.
portions. And then I put a coat of paint all over it, and then I analyze what I want forward or backward. And whatever's forward would be a warmer color, and whatever's
Okay.
backward would be a cooler color.
Okay.
So it creates more depth that way.
Okay, and they're very textural. I mean,
Yep.
like if you look at them from the side, you can just see.
Yeah, good point. You can see some surface appearances even on these smaller pieces. You know, it's quite nice that way, and it just gives you the feeling like you can almost flop right into the scene.
Exactly.
And I try to make it feel like you and I could have been there before it. You know, at one point in time, just kind of on our own personal experiences, hiking around and stuff
Okay.
like that.
And then the colors are a little bit interpretive, I guess would be
Yeah.
the way to say
Yeah.
that. So how, what, is there a consistency, like certain plants are always in the blue family, or does
Yeah.
it just
Good
whatever
point.
happens when you're
Yeah.
working?
Good point. You know, a lot of the ground plants do have like a phthalo color in them compared to like the pines who have like more of a orangey green color. Noticed that just with years of painting. I do get some people who comment about the saturation value in my paintings, but they're not really saturated colors and they're not fluorescents in any way. They're
Right.
just clean mixtures of paint that I use in my palette.
Okay.
And I enjoy making things a little bit more boosty than what you'd see in real
Right.
life, because that's my job, is not making it look like a photograph.
Exactly.
It's making it enhanced.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these are all studies that are 16 inches, and I've picked a series of these during the show and prior to the show, and I painted them up larger. And you know, those were the ones I picked as kind of big keepers. I've sold several of them already, so
Okay.
some of them aren't even here right now. But basically, these were kind of my work studies for
Okay.
that. And then if you come through here, I'll show you this. This is the one just out back from Pinnacle Peak, just out back here. It had rain, so you can see a little puddle there, and then all these magnificent skies. You see probably 3 or 4 nights out of an evening.
Right.
You know, out of a week here
And
is
that's a
what
good,
it looks like.
to loop back to you saying Pinnacle Peak, that's very cool that people who live here and they live by Pinnacle Peak, or obviously everyone
Yeah.
knows that mountain. So
Totally
they
can relate.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of local hiking trails,
Okay.
including Pinnacle Peak, but also the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
You know, these are Grand Canyon here, and here, and this one here. I try to squeak a river in there because I
Oh, I
just
see
love
it.
seeing a little bit of water
Right.
in there. And then I have these small plein air studies here. These are 6 by 10 inches, and these are something that if you're outside painting as an artist, they call it en plein air. It's a French
Yeah.
word for painting outside. Anyways, these are something that you can paint outside fairly quickly because of the surface area is only 6 by 10 inches.
Okay.
When you get into these larger pieces, the sun changes shadows on you before you have a chance to really get going with any of your
And then,
finished paintings.
so acrylics dry faster than oils, is that
Yes,
correct? So
yeah,
what, while you're working, is it dry by the time you're done?
Yeah, oh yeah,
And ready to pack up?
I'm quite prolific, so I even use a blow dryer sometimes for
Okay.
my pieces. But my palette, this gentleman shot a picture of it earlier, and underneath that palette there's a wet sponge.
Okay.
And I keep that soaked all the time, so the water's, and the paper that the paint is on is actually like that Tyvek stuff that builders use on the side of houses. It breathes.
Okay.
So it takes the moisture from that sponge and pulls it up through the palette and keeps the paint wet. And that allows me to paint outside with this stuff for a little longer period of time.
And now a fun fact about you is you were once a court illustrator, correct?
Courtroom artist, correct.
Okay, so how did that morph into this, and how did that prepare you as a fine artist?
Yeah, well, I majored in art education at Utah State University, and I did my practicum in my brother-in-law's junior high school class, and I said, nope, this is not my lifestyle. I want to become a full-time artist.
Okay.
So I started painting for galleries, and that's how I kind of got into this stuff.
Okay.
And I've taught at college before, community colleges, painting and illustration. And the courtroom thing was just kind of a sidebar for my advertising and graphics background that I had.
All right.
Yeah, and it was really fun to do. I mean, I can remember lawyers coming to me in the morning and say, "Hey, man, you drew my nose too big last night on the 6 o'clock news."
Right.
And I'd say, "Well, yeah, no, it was actually that."
It's hard to tell you, but that's your nose.
Yeah.
So you're working on pieces while you're here, so people can come in and see you in progress.
Yeah, I think I've finished 4 so far, and we've been open just over 2 weeks now.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This one right here, pull back a bit. I'll hold it up in the light. This is one that I just finished, and once again, you've got your sketch there. That's what I started with. I drew that here on my table at work here. And then I redrew that out on the canvas, and Shazam, there's your, I think this is called Sonoran Treasures.
Just beautiful.
Kind of reminds you of digging open an old treasure chest.
Right.
Seeing the gold inside. Kind of nice.
Yeah, really beautiful. So once again, we are here at the Arizona Fine Art Expo. We're here with John Burrow. You can come in, come meet him, see him at work.
Thank you.
You buy a ticket. We're here, and the expo is here through March 24th. Buy a ticket now. You can come back as many times as you want. Open every day, Monday through Sunday, 10 to 6, I believe.
10 to 6, yeah. Happy hour at 5 o'clock.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Every day.
That's a great secret. So whether you're a new collector, a seasoned collector, or just want to see some great art and see art being created, this is the place to do it, Arizona Fine Art Expo.